Brilliant. Thank you, Simon, and thank you to the DT Hub for giving Adam and I the opportunity to speak to you. So I'm calling from Melbourne. It's currently 9:30 in the evening, and my fellow co-director, Adam Beck, is dining in from Brisbane in Queensland. So we've got 8 minutes to share with you a bit of a snapshot of what's happening down under with all things digital twin, and also providing a bit of a snapshot about how Tempo over the last year is building digital twin capacity and capability in the local market. To provide some context, Australia is struggling with a lot of different challenges at the moment, effectively around social, with the housing crisis. We have issues around climate change and increasing natural disasters. We have economic pressures, whilst we have a growing population in terms of looking to improve productivity. So we have some huge macro challenges here, and one that governments are starting to realise that doing things we've always done, we need to do things a bit different. So on the left here, government reform policy has pretty much across the country looking around implementing digital twins as part of their infrastructure reform. What we're seeing now is practically over the last 3-4 years is circa around about $180 million worth of investment across the country. Now, for those who don't know the makeup of Australians federal, it's made up of 6 states and 2 territories. So effectively, there's individual states, which are like individual countries who are responsible for their own built environment. So there is no national approach to digitization within the built environment. It is down to each individual state and territory. So what you're seeing is a bit of fragmentation, but with some common denominators in terms of challenges and issues that they're facing. There's large amounts of collaboration that does happen ad hoc, but there is no national policy to tie that in. So there's government guidance has been put in place, but what's happening is there's a lot of bottom-up industry guidance, and one of the digital twin partnerships, which Adam and I are part of, are helping to build that capacity and capability, and we're going to be doing a joint event with the Credo team on climate resilience and digital twin event in March, so I'll give a plug for the DTP with that. So like I said, there's huge amounts of investment, planning, housing, infrastructure, operations, maintenance, climate, have all got a heavy bent in terms of what we're trying to do across the country. We're also in where Adam is based in Brisbane, there's an Olympics component as well. So they're looking around how digital twin can help plan and deliver a successful Olympics in Brisbane for 2032. This provides a bit of a snapshot. Adam and I co-wrote for Standards Australia Digital Twin White Paper last year, and this heat map provides you with a bit of an indication of where the maturity from a strategic perspective, the individual states are around building information modelling, geospatial, Internet of Things, and digital twin. So what we found is in terms of from this, there is no current national leadership. The development of digital twin standards relies on predominantly ISO international efforts, and there is a struggling marketplace. It's uncertain how to mobilise early action and investment. So key recommendations from that white paper was around 3 key areas around leadership and governance, enablers and activating. The highlighted area here is where Tempo has been born, is to help build capacity and capability within digital twin within the marketplace. So Tempo Institute, Digital Built Knowledge, we have 4 key things. We develop and deliver events to bring key stakeholders together. We've developed a micro-credential, which we've, as of next week, we've probably delivered to around about just around 30 people from all parts of the ecosystem, supply chain, government, cities, planners, etc. We have a white paper canvas quarterly publication for thought leadership, And then the last one is where we have a podcast, the Digital Built Australia podcast, where we've had several members of the UK digital twin ecosystem being on that. So what we have is the micro-credential is to support the capability development of policymakers and practitioners around a 2-day course to help them understand why is digital twin important, what is it, and how they can implement that. What happens as well, it's all means tested as well in terms of testing. So people actually get to have to take some assessment to receive that badge, and we issue them with a full micro-credential. The pink one is around if you finish the full 2-day course, but there's individual modules as well for if you just want to do the individual modules around delivering that. So those 4 modules around understanding the fundamentals, providing a snapshot of what's happening in the market, understanding what is a digital twin, why it's important. Secondly, one is around how you develop your strategy. Third one is around developing use cases. And then 4, the module is around understanding what the technology and data enablers are to bring your strategy to life. So we've had a lot of success in terms of that. This is clearly an emerging market, and more people need to build up their capability. So this is something in terms of quite emerging as a market, and we're hoping throughout 24 to extend that to parts of North America. When Adam and I are visiting the shores to catch up with various stakeholders in Canada and in America later on this year. For those who are keen interested in listening about digital twins, the Digital Built Australia can be found on our website. We're into season 3 now, and we're looking forward to sort of sharing more news and information around that. And if anyone would like to volunteer to come and speak on the podcast, we're always welcome to bring new insights and new people into the conversation. So finally, in terms of from our perspective, 4 key things to help build capacity and capability within the local market. So I think I've managed to succeed, John and Simon, with the 8 minutes. So with that, I'll hand back on to the next presenter.
So the first question here, Gavin, is for yourself, and I'll read out the top question, which is in purple, and then you can respond if possible. Is, in your opinion, do you believe that Australia and North America and Europe are aligned in their vision for digital twins?
Great question. I'll get Adam to contribute as well in a minute as well. I'll give my snapshot. I can't quote enough on in terms of North America. That's part of what our fact-finding mission is going to be in June when we're going to Canada and North America. So I think what we're finding a lot is that Australia is taking a lot of inspiration from what's happening in the UK from the National Digital Twin Programme. In terms of from a state perspective, but what we're seeing is taking a lot of inspiration from Highways England, High Speed 2, etc. Some of these major projects about those lessons learned in terms of building in from that. I think the visions are broadly the same. There's a lot of similarities between the macro challenges, but I feel like in terms of a lot of inspiration, is coming from the UK, and that comes with a lot of credence. Adam, do you want to add anything to that I've missed?
The only thing I'd say that is somewhat different, particularly to Europe, Gavin, is the whole idea of a national digital twin or connected digital twins. Australia's sort of fragmented governance results in sort of each of the 8 states and territories going it on their own. So there is a little bit of a difference there. And what we're finding so far in North America, still yet to be deeply ground truth, is there's a lot of digital twin work that is private sector-led manufacturing, aerospace, and the like. Australia's work has predominantly been focused in the mining and resources sector, so private sector, who have a very, very, strict productivity goal. And from a government perspective, we're seeing some decent investment, which is sending a good signal to the marketplace for other sectors outside of mining.
Adam and Gavin, what other recommendations What are the other recommendations in your white paper?
Yes, we've got 3 categories or buckets of recommendations: leadership and governance, enablers, and then an activating sort of pilot program. On leadership and governance, that was sort of the starting point of our recommendations. We need to find a national sponsor for the digital twin agenda, establish a bit of a governance / industry / working group, and then we identified the need for some form of a national strategy. Australia does have national strategies on certain digital and data related elements like cyber and privacy and things like that, but not specific to sort of digital engineering or digital transformation in the built environment. On the enablers, we had, of course, development of standards, getting those ISO standards through the pipeline as soon as possible, boosting capability, and making sure that we invest in technology. And then that final activating recommendation was hosting and facilitating and investing in a national pilot program of lighthouse projects.
Brilliant, thanks. And final question for yourselves here, and then I'll go to the final question to James after, is where do the main innovations in digital twin design development come from in the Australia practitioners landscape? Are they generated in industry R&D or research institutes locally or globally? Does the mentioned fragmentation affect R&D as well as the application side of things?
Yeah, great question. I think I would probably say that a lot of the innovation has come from the vendors themselves, and indeed in Australia, 2 highly successful vendors who have started off very small as startups and have gone international, Giraffe Technologies being one of them, and Archistar being the other. They've certainly taken a lead in the marketplace, and those platforms and that sort of innovation is being leaned on by government quite heavily. So there's been a couple of examples where the private sector has really led